and then you're talking about, the importance of community, and you just mentioned compassion. So what do we need to do, or how should we change our thinking in terms of our community and taking care of everyone?
We talked about this earlier, and we can do it as individuals, but what about those individuals who can't because of the way society is set up? Our society is set up to reward the economics and not reward or not take care of the individual.
Yeah.
And that's a huge problem. And I think that we can try and do things at an individual level, an institutional level, but if you're really going to move the needle, it's public policy.
Yeah.
And we talked about Singapore. So Singapore had a terrible life expectancy. And then they changed public policy. They incentivized families living together or close to one another by building complexes. They incentivized walking by taxing the daylights out of cars. They incentivized walking by making beautiful green spaces. They incentivized good food by helping shift policy and laws that allowed vendors to produce good, healthy food and not junk. They taxed lousy foods, sodas and things like that. And they literally went from, 20-something, maybe 30-something in the world to number 2 or 3 in longevity.
Wow.
In a few decades. So there's the individual level. We can make choices, but some of us in society don't have those choices.
Right. I think that's something that people fail to recognize. Some people don't have a choice.
They don't. They're a mother with a single mom with 3 kids on a minimal salary who doesn't have good transportation, and the only thing that she has access to is a convenience store. We've eliminated her choice. So public policy is huge in this. Think of cigarettes. We used to advertise cigarettes. We passed them out in the Army. Everybody got cigarettes, and we had 47% of the nation smoking. We then determined that cigarettes cause cancer and cause heart disease and all this other stuff. We then took cigarettes off the airwaves. We put them behind the counter.
Yep.
We eliminated minors buying cigarettes.
Started taxing them.
And we could do better at that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, nationwide smoking rate's 12.5%. Public policy.
Yep.
So we need strong public policy to help those who are at highest risk for disease and short life expectancy, and those are the socioeconomic disadvantaged.
Yep.
And it's a group effort, Erin. It's not just...
Why should everyone care? Why should I care sitting here in my little ivory tower at Channel 13? Why should I care?
My personal feeling, we should care about every human being. If you want to look at it from an economics perspective, the loss in economic productivity because of all this disease is in the hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars.
And couldn't you also argue that we're all paying for it?
We are, absolutely. So why are your insurance premiums higher? My insurance premiums, I just went on Medicare and I still have to pay for insurance premiums. Fine, I can do that. But why are they so high? Because there's so many people sick in society who are utilizing those resources. So we do all pay the price, whether it's in insurance premiums, whether it's in lost productivity. But let's skip that. That's the whole economic side. Let's look at the human side. The human side says we should care about everyone in our society, no matter their gender, their sexual orientation, their color. They're humans. We care for our animals better than we do for humans. We really do.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the underlying reason is, why are we not taking care of one another? Why do we have such division in our society based on someone's color, someone's language, someone's sexual orientation? It's abominable.
Yeah, people are people.
They are.
Yeah.
And we should care for nothing better. We should take the best care possible of our human neighbors and fellow citizens, not just the United States, but wherever you go. Yeah. We've created artificial borders, right? We've drawn lines. This is yours, this is mine. Well, why does that line make somebody from Mexico different than somebody from the United States? You know, take little kids. What do little kids want? They want to feel safe, secure, and loved. Isn't that what every human wants?
It's fundamental.
That's what every human wants. So how do we bring safety to those communities? How do we show that we all love one another? And how do we then supply those communities with the essential needs for a good life?
Yeah. When we get rid of a lot of those things too, now we're really getting in the weeds, but that has ripple effects then too when you're talking about things like crime, the cost to all of our societies to incarcerate people.
Yes, there are some mentally disturbed people who should probably be locked up. But most of the time, people are just trying to survive. You know, I steal a TV because I need to buy food for my 2 kids.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have this very punitive legal justice system that's really slanted towards people who aren't white.
Yeah.
And it's not right. And, you know, we've had this attitude, you know, again, the United States, everybody fends for themselves. Come to a hospital and see all the people who have physical ailments that really don't allow that, of no fault of their own.
Yeah.
And then you look at it and go, wow, how can we better take care of this person? Because we all really deserve, everybody in this world deserves the best life possible. And yes, we shape our own lives in some way, but one of the biggest things I've learned over time, particularly kind of delving into self-care and things, is how I view myself in any given situation. And I can look at myself as a victim, or I can look at myself as, that's life, I can accept it, and I can move on. And whatever you do. So, you know, you have disappointment. We all are going to have disappointment. We can dwell on that disappointment, we can create anxiety in our body, or we can say, you know, that's okay, something else will come along and I'll be fine. So it's really about self-reflection and how each of us look at lives, if you want sort of what can individuals do to improve their life.
Yeah.
It's really how we interact with everything that happens in our life. And that's sort of the Zen philosophy, the meditation thing is.
Yeah.
Life is going to come at you. You can't control virtually anything in life. You can control how you react.
Yes.
And so let's focus on, okay, how do I react in any given situation? And we can react in a very calm, comfortable way where, okay, I accept that has happened, but I can move on, or everything's a catastrophe.
Yes.
And I think that's where social media and the news feeds into this catastrophic view of the world.
Yes.
There's so many great things that are happening.
Yeah, yeah.
There really are. And, you know, again, that's an evolutionary wiring. We were evolutionarily wired to have things that were negative or a risk to our lives immediately hardwired into our brain. But things that are good, those kind of slide off like Teflon because they didn't really support survival. So we have to work at finding the good and the positives in things. And when you consciously do that, you literally change your life.
Yeah.
The world goes from this big, scary place to this wonderful, beautiful place with all kinds of opportunity.
Yeah.
And guess what? Your neurohormonal chemical milieu changes dramatically too.
That's amazing.
And you feel different. So when you live in fear, you feel like you have no energy. You feel like you have a ball and chain on your neck. When you live in kindness, compassion, and that the world is a great place, it literally changes how you feel. And I can measure chemicals in you and prove it.
Yeah, that's incredible to me.
So